Hello, this is going to be a video of a French military tent heater made by DeVille and how to light it. This is the unit. It has a fuel tank in the back with a fuel cap and a fuel valve. It has a carburetor, choke assembly, the door, all right, first thing you have to do is fill the fuel tank. On the back here, there's a lid. Flip it open, there's a screen in there. Put your phone in. And it takes diesel, kerosene, jet fuel, but not gasoline. You can run any of those other fuels in it. I'm running diesel that we get at the pump. And it holds 6 gallons. A little bit more than 6 gallons actually. Always leave that strainer in there. Close the lid, and there's a valve on the tank. You just open it a couple of turns, and that allows fuel to go to the carburetor. Okay. I made this arm to hold this door open. It's spring loaded. It has a glass on it. This is the choke. This is with it on, it's open. This is a cleaner rod that goes in and out of the tube, the fuel tube. Move it around and then tighten that back up a little. Place the fuel selector on about halfway, which is even with this little brass looking thing. You push the fuel button down, which turns the fuel flow going to the carburetor. I always take some of this one match gel fire starter. Into a little spoon. Put about a spoon in there, and then you can light it. That's the easiest way to light it. And then you push this into the very bottom and blow your flame out. It has a dampener, which is up here on top. This is what allows it to breathe when the wind is blowing outside, so it doesn't try to flare up on you. On the inside there's a standpipe in there, and there's a ring on the outside. That's where the fuel goes in. And down in the bottom is where I put the tablespoon full of starter gel, and you just let it burn. The control is on between number 2 and number 3, which is about halfway. And this is the choke. That way is the choke is off. This way the choke is on. I know it seems backwards. And all I did was make a little rod to hold this door open. This door has to stay open until the stove reaches at least 125 degrees at the top. And this is the easiest way to light this stove. I have a little thermal gun here that I always measure, and right here at the top where it's pretty cold, 67.8. Once that reaches 125 degrees on the top, then we'll close the door and we'll go from there. I leave the dampener just barely where it opens like that. You can adjust it. There's a weight on this screw right here. You screw it in and it leaves it more closed. I leave it about like that so it doesn't try to feed too much air into the bottom. As you can tell, it's burning good. It usually takes about 5 minutes or so before the top gets to 125 degrees. We're about 84. And the chimney is all stainless steel, goes out and up. I think I paid right at $275 for the thing. It heats very well, puts out a lot of heat, and it doesn't use a lot of diesel. It's very efficient. When the thing is burning correctly and the doors are shut and the choke is off, it'll burn with a perfect blue flame. DeVille is just about the only one that makes this kind of gravity feed. No power required whatsoever to operate this heater. And it's just heating up. It'll flare up a little bit and burn. Inside there, there's a cone that disperses the heat out once it hits it. Have to clean that glass off every once in a while. It'll get a little smudge on it. Just wipe it off with a paper towel. And you just leave it just like that until it gets to 125 on the top. We're getting close. 113, 114. I found that if you close the door too early, there's a chance that the flame will go out And if it goes out, you have to wait till it's completely cold to the touch before you can try to re-fire it. Plus it leaves a lot of fuel in the bottom of the burner. It's a real pain in the butt if you don't let it light correctly. Usually you have to let it cool completely off. Take some paper towels, soak up all the fuel in the bottom, and then start over. It's a pain. But if you do it right, it lights up perfectly every time. Let's check the temperature. All right, we're at 129, 130. Just move that little arm out of the way. Close the door. You'll notice the flame will start looking different inside there. Alright. Looks like it's burning really good. Let's go ahead and close the choke. And what I like to do is you can tell if it's burning real yellow like that, it's running really rich. So I like to put the little knob that sticks out right here on about 1.5 and let it burn. You can tell it's already starting to burn blue. Your goal is to make it burn nice and blue. Just like that. It usually takes a couple of minutes. Now the dampener is sucking in a lot more air because of the flames burning. You go ahead and close that down, screw it in, and it will weight that door down. And you want it just before it touches. You can see it moving back and forth, and that's the wind outside blowing across the top of the chimney. And she's burning nice and blue. It's not burning too rich. That's what you're looking for. Perfect blue flame. Now it's on a low setting of 1.5. Once you get that blue flame, you can turn it up. Let's turn it back to halfway now. There's a delay in how fast that fuel goes from that carburetor to the burner. It usually takes a minute or so. And the stove is heating up. The hotter it gets, the higher you can run it and it'll stay blue. If you turn it up and it starts going yellow again, like it looks like it might be trying to do, it means that it's still warming up. So we'll leave it right there for a little while, and I'll come back to it once it warms up a little more. Okay, it's been about 10 minutes. And I have the carburetor set on number 4. It only goes to number 6. So number 4 is a pretty high setting. And after about 10 minutes, the top temperature is about 350 degrees on the top. But down here on the side, since it's a radiant, we're getting about 480, 470, 478. So that's putting off a lot of heat on the side. You can see the discoloration on the fuel tank heat shield, which keeps the fuel from getting hot. And I have it close to a door here that was getting too hot, so I had to put a piece of metal to absorb the heat, because it was closer to the door than it probably should have been. And there's the burn on number 4. Nice and blue. Runs very efficiently. And you can see how hot that center stand gets. Glowing red. Anyway. Oh, and yeah, shutdown is very simple. You just turn the fuel valve all the way to 0. And then the valve here, you just lift it up, it'll click up, and that will shut it all off. I like to close the fuel valve on the tank. Just turn it clockwise until it stops, and you don't have to tighten it very tight. It's a needle valve, so it seals up really well. And that is the DeVille military tent heater. Very, very efficient. Very quiet. You can't hear anything. But it's throwing off lots of heat. And that's that.